If I was moving to Kansas City in 2025 or 2026, this is the exact video that I would want to see. We're not just going to be talking about the top 5 neighborhoods. We're going to be talking about the places that we move as lifelong residents of Kansas City. Hey, my name is Zac Morton. This is Max Jones, and we have been helping people move to Kansas City for over 26 years. We are one of the top sales teams in Kansas City, the Mojo Real Estate team, and I encourage you to go on Google and check us out with over 750 5-star Google reviews from folks just like you. So without any more, let's dig in.
Yeah, I currently live in Liberty and you live in Lake Wacomas, so we're both Northlanders. But the first place that comes to mind, if I didn't have to be in Liberty for my kids' school or close to the in-laws, I'd be looking at Overland Park.
Yeah, Overland Park, it's the biggest, baddest suburb of Kansas City. And when we get people relocating from out of town, it's the one that gets the most Google searches and the most clicks and the most action. So we always kind of hear about that first. It is a great place. It's where a lot of people flock to. It's got it has the best schools in Kansas City if public schools are important to you. And not only that, kind of the vibe down there is it's really clean. It's really busy. There's a lot of corporate businesses there, so you can kind of live where you work. There's everything you could ever want to do, and some of the best shopping in the entire Kansas City metro area is located right there in Overland Park.
Yeah, it's kind of a little more posh than the Northland is. I'd say the vibe in the Northland might be a little more country, a little more spread out, a little more easygoing. You get down into Overland Park, it's a little more cosmopolitan, a little more commercialized, more restaurants, more shopping, a little more posh. Maybe, that's where you'll find the yuppies if that's what you're looking for. That's the overall vibe, but it's great schools, really good highway access. You don't have the earnings tax to worry about being on the Kansas side. Can't think of enough good things to say about it. Some of the top subdivisions are Lionsgate, Mills Farm, Pinehurst Estates, Nottingham Forest. And we have a whole video on Overland Park. So if that's something that interests you, check out our video on Overland Park.
Yeah, and the way Overland Park's laid out, it is on the southwest side of Kansas City, on the Kansas side, like Max said. It has great highway access. You can go right up 35, heading north, go right into downtown. Depending where you're at in Overland Park, on average 15 to 20 minutes, you're right into downtown. It's a little further from the airport, so if you're traveling a lot, that's just something to consider. I know a lot of people that live in Overland Park or even Olathe will drive up and maybe get a hotel if they've got a red-eye flight right by the airport before they take off in the morning, so they don't have to fight traffic or get a little extra sleep. So just take that into consideration. But overall, it's got a little bit of everything for everyone. It's a gradient from north to south. North is old Overland Park, and then as you go south away from the city, the houses get bigger, they get newer, and then all the way to the south side, you can get to find the bigger estate properties with a little more elbow room. So it's really got something for everybody. It's one of the best spots in Kansas City that gets a lot of attention.
Yeah, the only cons I can really think of are the traffic can be a nightmare during rush hour on 435 there. If you're going east to west on 435, during rush hour is a bear. And then it's a little more expensive. Johnson County is the most expensive county in Kansas City in the metro. So the taxes are higher, the property values are, 5 to 10% more for the price per square foot. So other than that, it is the nicest place to live in Kansas City.
Yeah, and you can get just to give you a perspective on price, you can get a really nice starter home for around $400. And then if you want something more 2 to 3 car garage, maybe 3,000 to 4,000 square feet, you're probably looking in that $600,000 to $800,000 price point. And then Overland Park goes even way up over $1 million. So it's got something for everybody, and it's why it made the top of our list.
Are you thinking about relocating to Kansas City? Well, we've got just the thing for you. Our team has actually taken the time to create the ultimate relocation guide, which is meant to save you hours of research. And we've linked it down below, from top employers, the best hospitals, and the highest rated schools, and a boatload of other information you're gonna wanna know before making the move. And the best part, boy, this guide is 100% free. That's right, you heard me right, 100% free. Just click the link in the description in the top pinned comment. Hope that helps.
And then number 2 on the list, if I wanted to live somewhere else, would be Lee Summit.
Yeah,
Lee Summit is a fantastic area on the southeast corner of Kansas City, over on the Missouri side. And the reason that I would live there is its proximity to the lake. Our family has a boat. We love going down to the Ozarks or to Pomme de Terre or Truman. There's a ton of lakes down in southern Missouri. And if you're on that southeast corner of the city, it saves you about an hour off the commute, especially when you're heading out of town on Friday evening and you hit that rush hour traffic. I mean, it's a nightmare if you live on the other side of town.
Yeah, and since COVID, it seems like even if you leave Friday at noon, it seems like everybody's leaving work Friday at noon. Traffic on Friday starts building up pretty early. So yeah, I agree. I like the southeast side. There's also a lot of newer construction going on over there. Lee Summit has really expanded. It's seen a lot of growth, but saying that, there's still a lot of elbow room. It's not as tight as Johnson County or Overland Park, and they still have a lot of amenities and even local lakes. So if you like to live on a lake, there's several options over there. There's also a couple smaller public lakes. So if you have a boat that's local, or if you want to keep it at a local marina and you want to be 15 minutes from the lake, you've got that option. If you're a sailor, they've got a strictly sailing lake, so you can keep your sailboat out there. And then they have a lot of conservation ground too, so you can get out, enjoy the parks, you can go fishing, you can go hunting, and all that kind of stuff right there in Lee Summit.
Yeah, if you're a recreational type of person, love vacationing, you're a lake guy, Lee Summit is really going to resonate with you. It's also close to both sports stadiums. The Chiefs and the Royals are just on the north of Lee Summit area, so a lot of the people that work, or the players and anybody that is affiliated with the Chiefs or Royals, a lot of them will choose to live in Lee Summit. In fact, down close to Lee Summit is where Pat Mahomes lives, down in Loch Lloyd. So it's a really great area. The only thing I can think that is negative really is its proximity to the airport is pretty awful. It's on the complete opposite end. So if you travel a lot for work, fly from town to town, then Lee Summit's not going to be ideal.
Yeah, and I will say too, it's going to be a lot more affordable than Overland Park or Johnson County on that other side. So your money's going to go a little further. You are on the Missouri side, but you're in Lee Summit, so you're still going to avoid that. You're not a Kansas City address, so you're going to avoid that 1% earnings tax. So that's nice too. And then the highway systems, getting into downtown, getting all around. 291 runs north and south straight through the middle of it. So it is really easy access for everybody to get kind of wherever you're going.
Yep, and then the schools for Lee Summit are really highly rated too. They're not maybe as good as Blue Valley over on the Kansas side, but Lee Summit schools have great sports options. They have all your college credit courses, and academically and sports, really solid school system.
Yeah, and all these areas that we're going to talk about today too are pretty low on crime as in Kansas City as a whole. So that's one of the reasons too that we picked those. We both are raising families here, so these are the spots that we take our families with our kids.
Yep. Speaking of lakes, our number 3 spot that we would choose to live if we had to live somewhere different is Weatherby Lake.
Yeah, Weatherby Lake. So I am a lake. I was actually born and raised at Lake Wacomas and live there to this day. I did move away for a few years and I went to college and all that stuff, but back at Lake Wacomas, it's a smaller lake, but Weatherby Lake is just across the highway. It's not a big suburb. It's not something, if you're not from Kansas City and you just start Googling houses in Kansas City, you're not going to find this place. That's why we wanted to talk about it. It's a really cool lake in the Northland, and it's located just north of the river, just west of I-29, and it's the closest subdivision that we're talking about, the neighborhood that we're talking about today, to the airport. So if you like to travel, it's sweet. You are 10 minutes from Weatherby Lake to the airport. Super nice. And in fact, when they built Weatherby Lake, there was a lot of pilots that lived there because of its proximity to the airport. So somehow they went in and worked with the airport, and they kind of made a no-fly zone over Weatherby. So that's something that, even though you're close to the airport, you're not going to get a lot of air traffic over Weatherby that you're gonna have to listen to. So another nice perk there.
Yeah, nestled right in there in Platte County. You've got great shopping that's right down the street in Zona Rosa. Really good highway access. If you want to be downtown, you can be there in 10 minutes. Its vibe is a little different than Lake Wacomas. I'll say, I don't live in either one of them, but if I had to choose one, I would probably choose Weatherby Lake, just because it's a little more white collar. Lake Wacomas has a little more blue collar vibe where everybody's partying, and it's really a fun place to live. But I'd say Weatherby is a little more white collar. The house prices are a little more on the upper end, where, correct me if I'm wrong, the upper end for Lake Wacomas is probably in the $600 to $700 or lakefront.
On average, yeah.
Where you might see, $2 million house on a lakefront in Weatherby. So a little higher end, a little bigger lots. It's a bigger lake than Lake Wacomas, and maybe just a little nicer.
Yeah, bigger boats, more horsepower, all that fun stuff. A little more elbow room. And like you said, Lake Wacomas is almost like a no-collar kind of place.
Yeah, more of a tank top kind of place.
No, but they're both great. But yeah, it's a little nicer. You can get into second, third, or fourth tier at Weatherby Lake, you know, maybe in the 4 to 5s. And then like Max was saying, that first tier, you're gonna start maybe getting over 750 and then all the way up. It's a lake where people are starting to tear down first tier properties to put new construction back in its place. So there's a little bit of that going on, so you can expect to see that. I will say too, on its location, being right on I-29, that you are only about 12, 15 minutes from downtown, 10 minutes to the airport. So it's a really sweet spot. And being up north of the river on the Missouri side, you're gonna have a lot less traffic in your commute, driving around day to day, going shopping. So there's a lot more elbow room if you are looking at the north side of Kansas City on the Missouri side. The Weatherby address also gets you out of Kansas City proper, so you're not gonna have that earnings tax as long as you're not working in Kansas City as well.
Yeah, because it is its own city. Even though there's only about 800 or 1,000 homes in that Weatherby Lake, it's more of a subdivision, but it is its own city. And with that, it has its own police force. So it's probably one of the safest places in the Northland because you've got the Kansas City police that are just outside of the Weatherby Lake, but it has its own police force, its own courthouse. And if people are driving through there more than 25 miles an hour, best believe
you ever tied,
they're getting a ticket.
Hey guys, it's Zach and Max here with the Mojo Real Estate team, and we love making these videos, but there's one thing that we love even more, and that's helping people and families from all over the world move to Kansas City. We've helped thousands of families over the last 26 years in business, but you don't have to take our word for it. You can see what our clients have to say with over 750 5-star Google reviews from folks just like you. So whether you're moving next week, next month, or even next year, you can reach out to us anytime. Our contact information is on the screen, and we've also got it pinned in the description below. And we look forward to chatting with you about your move to Kansas City.
All right, well, Weatherby Lake is a great spot, but not too far from that, just around and outside of Weatherby Lake, just to the south of it is our next spot,
which is Parkville. Parkville is also north of the river, so you're in the Northland on the Missouri side. You're also avoiding that E-tax because Parkville is the city name. And it's a really nice place that offers a lot of fun stuff to do. We have a mega video that we've done on Parkville that you're welcome to check out if you want to just learn a lot about Parkville. But the things that I like about Parkville and why I would choose to live there is there is an awesome riverfront park right down off of Main Street. So it's got this nice, cute little downtown, with the old shops from 100 years ago. And then you walk right across the railroad tracks and you have this huge, it's called English Landing Park. It's a very expansive park. It's got boat ramps that'll get you into the Missouri River if you like to fish or boat. It's got disc golf. It's got a walking trail. They do a lot of 5Ks down there, so a nice big walking trail.
Yep, that English Landing Park is phenomenal. We've got a whole video on Parkville you can check out. What I really like about Parkville, it has some of the best subdivisions in Riss Lake and the National. And the National is a Tom Watson golf course community that's both on the north side of 45 Highway and the south. So it has the National and the Deuce, some of the best golfing in Kansas City right in there. And then Riss Lake is a beautiful lake subdivision, probably, I don't know, one of my favorite subdivisions in the Northland. So Parkville just has a lot to offer for everyone. So if you're renting, it has apartments, luxury apartments. If you're buying a first-time home buyer type of house in the 300 price range, you can live in Parkville, all the way up to several $1 million for a house on the lake. So it really has a whole spectrum, a lot of diversity, great schools. Park Hill School District is one of the highest rated in Kansas City. And then Parkville's also growing on the west side of Parkville. You have Creekside, which is a really nice development. They've got some sports, some ball fields, and there's lots of shopping and restaurants that are going in on the west side, because that was one of the only complaints is out towards the west. You were kind of a ways out there if you lived in Parkville, not close to shopping, not close to the highway, and all that's kind of getting ironed out with the development that's going on right now.
Yeah, and if you happen to be working downtown or even traveling to the airport, 435 is on the west side of Parkville, so you've got great access to a very lightly traveled highway that'll run you north and south, and you got I-29, of course, on the east side of Parkville that'll run you straight into downtown. And in Parkville, you're 15 minutes to downtown, 15 minutes to the airport, so kind of the best of both worlds there in the Northland, with a lot of elbow room and high safety ratings.
The only con really that I can think of is the flight path. That flight path that we mentioned going around Weatherby Lake does go over a lot of the western side of Parkville. So we have gotten some complaints from people that, you know, they didn't realize that planes were going to be flying over. So you get that a little bit in the Northland, depending on which way the wind's blowing. There's another spot that runs east of the airport that will get some of it too. So, you know, if noise is a complaint for you, then that would be the only downside that I can think of for Parkville.
All right, now for that question of the day. For those of you thinking about moving to Kansas City, where are you going to be moving from, and what's the main reason you're leaving your current city or state? We are truly curious, so make sure to let us know down below. Also, if you have any questions or thoughts, you can leave those in the comments down below, or even better, text, call, or email us. Our information is on the pop-up on the screen.
Last on our list, we've got Lenexa, which is back down in Kansas, back in Johnson County. Lenexa is again south of the river on the west side of the city. It's actually located right next to Overland Park, which we talked about first. What we like about Lenexa is it's a little bit cheaper than Overland Park, but you get to go right across the highway and use all of the Overland Park's amenities. So a really sweet spot. It has a really nice gradient too from east to west, where you've kind of got the old Lenexa with the smaller, you know, grid neighborhoods. And then as you start to go west, we get into some newer houses, bigger 2 stories, story and a halves. And then even once you get past the city center, we get out into golf courses, golf course communities, and even acreage properties out on the west side. So it's got a little bit of everything and still takes advantage of those top-notch Blue Valley School District.
Yeah, you'll see in our Lenexa video where we go all in depth on Lenexa, but I really love that city center where they're reimagining what Lenexa can be, and in an effort, I think, to compete with Overland Park, they've rebuilt a whole city center and really brought in a lot of commerce there. So I think it's an up-and-coming, great place to be where you can have all of the amenities that Overland Park offers, but at a little bit of a discount.
Yeah, and even on the north side of Lenexa, you'll find Shawnee Mission Park, which has the lake up there. So you're gonna have a great park right in your suburb with a lot of walking trails, mountain biking. They got equestrian trails. So just a little bit of everything if you like to get out and walk. And also something I'll say about Lenexa too is there's a lot of trails connecting the neighborhoods. They put in a lot of paved trails that kind of meander through the city, kind of take you into the city center or different places in it, which is super cool. It's super walkable. There's also a lot of like rental properties and all kinds of stuff mixed in with the commerce around that new city center. So you can live there, you can eat there, you can play there, and with that commerce, you can also work there.
Yep, and then hopping on 435 and cruising up to the airport isn't too bad either if you travel a lot for work. So Lenexa just has a ton to offer, and that's why it made our list.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are the 5 places that we would consider living. You know, if I didn't have to live in Liberty, my kids are both entrenched in the schools here. So I'm kind of stuck next to my in-laws. Can't leave Liberty, but if I did, these are the 5 places that I would consider, and we think that you should consider if you're going to be making a move to Kansas City in 2025 or 26.
Yep, absolutely. But hey, really it all comes down to what your goals are and what you need. And that's what we really love to do, is to either hop on a Zoom or have a phone call with you to kind of discuss what's important to you. And we can have this discussion that's really tailored to what your needs are. So when you're ready, you can reach out to us anytime. The number's on the screen. You can shoot us an email. You can even schedule a Zoom call. We love doing those with people to kind of see your face and get to know you a little bit before you hop out here. So with that being said, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next video. And we look forward to seeing you on the next video.
We'll see you then.
Thanks.